Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this series. So, over the course of the next few lessons, we're going to be programming this page. So here, we have a button that follows the mouse around. And when you click on it, it'll turn on fireworks. And if you click it again, it will turn off fireworks. And as you notice, the text on the button changes. Actually, first off, do you guys hear me? Do you see my video?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So first, let's review the program that I made last time in a video that you guys might have watched on YouTube. So this is what we wrote at the end of, so this is what we have by the end of the first lesson. And just to review, the main tags, the main HTML tags in here are the HTML tag, which defines this block of HTML code, the head tag, which defines the settings. We have no settings so far, though. And then the body tag defines the block of content, which is shown on the page. So this. And so this is what we had last time. So we have a page like this, and when you click the button, you have fireworks. So in our code that we coded last time, we have a button tag with this text. And when you click on the button, it launches, it calls this JavaScript function, which is defined here. And this just changes the background to the fireworks GIF animated image like we have here. And so first thing that we're going to do, so in your browser in this page, if you click inspect element and select console, you'll have the console. And in the console, the browser writes the errors that occur on the page. So here we have an error that says that the character encoding on this HTML document was not declared. And so the document will render with garbled text in some browser configurations if the document contains characters from outside this character encoding. And what that means is we didn't set the character encoding for the page. And if we enter characters which are not part of the default encoding, it will just print gibberish on the page. To fix it, we will put a tag in our code. I'll copy paste it. So what this does is it changes the charset to UTF-8. So historically, there are a bunch of charsets. There are a bunch of charsets, and they're usually English and another language. So let's say these charsets support English letters and Russian letters, or English letters and Chinese letters. And but somewhat recently, UTF became a character encoding, and UTF supports pretty much all languages and a bunch of other symbols. And UTF stands for Unicode. So in HTML, in the head tag, just put this line. And if we save and refresh it, you'll notice that the error is gone. Another 2 lines that I'm going to put in the HTML code are these 2. So if you look at the page right now, you'll notice that the web page name is just the file path of the HTML file, and there is no icon here. So what these 2 lines do, this line changes the title of the page to fireworks, and this one sets the shortcut icon of a page to be this fireworks GIF that we saved earlier. So if we save it and refresh the page, you'll notice that the title changed to fireworks and the icon changed to this. So the browser that I've opened right now is Firefox Development Edition. It is a browser that I find is really comfortable for development, and it has a bunch of development tools. Chrome also has a lot of development tools, so you can work with Chrome. So the way you access this developer tools panel is right-clicking on a page and inspect element, then console if you're in Firefox. Same thing in Chrome, right-click, inspect, and click console, and you'll have the console for this page. And the console, what the console is, a console is like a kind of like a secret panel where the browser, like I said before, the browser prints all the errors in here, all the like problems with your program, and also the JavaScript code of your program can type stuff in here. So what we're going to do today is we're going to learn about variables. So I'm going to copy paste this code block to show what variables are. So variables in JavaScript are kind of like a box or a container. Imagine them as like a box or container where you can put different values. The way they are defined is using this let keyword. And so in this line, for example, we define a variable named fireworks. You can name it anything you want. Let fireworks. And then this, we assign a value to the variable. So we take the variable fireworks and we set it to be equal to false. In JavaScript, there are 5 different types of values that a variable can have. It can either be a true false value, so a Boolean. It can be a number like this, or a number with decimals. It can be a string, so text surrounded by single or double quotation marks. It can be an object, as you remember, document is an object part of a document object model hierarchy. And if we don't set a value to a variable, its type will be undefined. And so what we do in this code is we assign values to different variables. Then using the console.log command, we print text to the console. And here we print the type of a variable using the JavaScript typeof command, and also the value of the variables. So if we save and test this, you'll notice that we have a bunch of new messages in a console. So as you see here, the type of a fireworks variable is Boolean. Boolean is true or false. And the value of it is false, like we said it. Type of num is number, and it's 5. Type of str is string, and the value of str is fireworks. The type of doc is object, and its value is this object HTML document. The type of undef is undefined because we never assign it a value, and its value is undefined as well. And all the variables are visible only in the code block that they're declared in. So this here is a code block that we make, and in that code block, we create a new variable called test, and we assign it this value. And here we just print a message to the console with the type of this variable and the value. And here we print the type of the test variable, but this time it's outside the code block. And as you can see in the console, the type of the test variable inside of the code block is number, and its value is 3.1416, like we said it, but outside the code block is undefined, because this test variable was set inside of this code block. Now, in JavaScript, the let keyword for defining variables was introduced not that long ago. But before the let keyword was introduced, there's another keyword for declaring variables called var. So var, like this. And var and let have a few differences. So, for example, if I write var here, save and run, you'll notice that this time the type of a test variable outside of a block is number. So this variable still exists outside this code block. This is a bit of a non-standard approach for programming, and may cause some confusion later on. In addition, if you're going to be programming microbits, the var keyword is not recognized there. So you're going to have to use let. And for those reasons, I strongly suggest you use let when declaring variables. And also, I will be using let in my tutorials. So I'm going to delete this block of code because we don't need it anymore. But I'm going to leave this line for because we'll need it in a few minutes. So Our page right now has something called a push button. So when you click on it, it does an action, but it doesn't remember its state, and it can detect if it was clicked like a few times in a row and so on. So there's a second type of buttons other than the push button. It's the toggle button. So if a push button is like the buttons on your keyboard, so like when you type stuff, it doesn't remember its state. And if you type the same letter twice, it won't do anything special, like undo the letter or something. And now, but a toggle button is like a light switch. If you turn it off, you can push the same button to turn it off and then push the same button again to turn it on. And also, you can see what the state of the light switch is by its position. So right now in our program, we're going to change this button from a push button to a toggle button. And the first thing that we need to do is have a way to remember the state of a button. And we're going to use this variable to hold the state of the button. So we use a Boolean type for this variable. And this because Boolean variables can only be either true or false. And just like our button, it can be either on or off, like our light switch, I mean. So now what we need to do is have a way to change states when the button is clicked. So to do that, we're going to write this line of code. So what this does, what this means, this exclamation mark means not in JavaScript. So essentially, it takes whatever is after the exclamation mark, and then takes its Boolean value, and then makes it the opposite of what it is. So if fireworks is false, this will be equal to true. And if fireworks is true, then this will be equal to false. And then it saves this value into the variable fireworks. And to test that it works properly, we can go to console.log. We can create a console.log command, and we can print the state. So if we save and refresh this, when we click the button, it will print the state. If we click on it again, the state changes, and we can click it a few times to make sure that it works the way it should. So now, when the state changes, it doesn't actually do anything. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to create an if statement. An if does exactly what it sounds like. It checks whatever's in the brackets. It can be like a Boolean variable or Boolean expression. And if this is equal to true, then it will do whatever is after it. And we can put a code block so that it does everything inside this code block. So what we want to do is if the state is true, so if fireworks is true, or just like if fireworks, we want to set the background to the background image that we have. And if we save and run this, when we click the button, the state is true. it sets the background image to fireworks. But we don't have a thing to change this, to turn these fireworks off when the state is false. And so, and also we could write another if statement and just be like, if not fireworks, set background image to nothing. There's a more efficient way of doing this, and this is using the else keyword, which is part of the if command, and write code after it or put a code block. So what the else keyword does is if this condition is not true, then it will go here and do whatever's here, which is perfect for our case. So what we're going to do in the else is we're going to set the background image to null. And null in JavaScript is pretty much means nothing. So set the background image to nothing. And if we refresh this, you'll see that when we click the button, the state is true and fireworks are displayed. When we click it again, the fireworks disappear. And we can click it a few times to make sure it works. And now another thing is we don't need these lines to be executed every time that we click the button. We just need them to run once when the program is created, and just have them this way. So to make sure it works, I'll save and refresh. And as you can see, it still works. And now what we're going to do is I want to make it so that the text on the button changes when you click on it. And so it changes depending on its state. So in order to do that, the first thing that we have to do is add the ID attribute to the button. Oh, sorry. The ID attribute to the button. And what this does is it makes it so that the JavaScript code can later find this button by its ID. And now I'm going to paste this line of code and the JavaScript. And what this does is it creates a variable called button and sets it to an object which represents an element with the ID firework button, which is this button here. So it's pretty much an object representation of this button. And so this object has a property or setting that is called innerHTML. And this property holds whatever is between the opening and the closing HTML tag. So this text here. And when the state is true, we're going to set the innerHTML to turn it off. And when the state is false, we're going to change it to turn it on. So if we save and refresh this page, when we click the button, you'll notice that the text changes to turn it off. And when you click on it again, the text changes to turn it on. And we can click it a few times to make sure it still works. Yeah, so this is everything that I want to explain today. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so we still have a bit more time, and I'm going to show you a few more things that you can do with a Google Sites page, and we're going to update the code with our new code. So go to sites.google.com or Google Sites and go to the fireworks page that you made earlier. And so a few more things that you can do here is you can add a logo. And so here, when you click add a logo, you can add a logo and a favicon. So a logo will be an image that is displayed here on the web page, and the favicon is an image that is displayed here in the shortcut icon. So when we click upload, I uploaded this GIF image that we downloaded earlier. Same with favicon, and that's it. So now I'm going to update the code with our new code. So we're going to delete our old code. And then we're going to select everything inside the body tags here and paste it in here. Save. And then we're going to publish it. View publish site. And this is our new web page. Does anyone have any questions? All right, I guess that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day, everyone.